From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
The All Indiana Podcast Network.
This is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now all the latest news.
Kylie Conway has all the news you need to know.
And more.
Please stand by.
Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Wednesday, July 1st. A warm and humid day with highs in the upper 80s. Wish TV Chief Meteorologist Ashley Brown says we cannot rule out a stray shower or storm before sunset tonight either. Expect a dry and cooler condition overnight with a light breeze with a low of 67. Then get ready for another hot day tomorrow as temperatures go back up to the 90s. Lots of sunshine, lower humidity, that's the good part, with mainly dry conditions, high of 90 degrees. Governor Eric Holcomb said today that Indiana is holding steady on its 4 basic principles for recovery, but will not go to the final stage 5 of its recovery plan. Instead, the state will move to stage 4.5 from July 4th through 17th. That means a temporary pause on increasing capacity in restaurant dining rooms, bars, and entertainment venues as planned to start July 4th. Dining room service will stay at 75% capacity as long as social distancing is observed. Bars, nightclubs, and entertainment venues will stay at 50% capacity, and social distancing practices must be observed. The state has found the number of COVID-19 patients hospitalized and admitted daily has increased in the past week. Also, the daily positivity rate has ticked up slightly. Holcomb said that the rise in numbers hasn't impacted the ability to care for those in need. And he says he's watched as other states in the country have had to start shutting back down because of the rise in cases, and he wants to avoid that. Here's more from Governor Holcomb.
Even though they've maybe reopened recently, they're now going back and closing some of those facilities or closing parts of their economy. We don't want to find ourselves in that situation. And so understanding that July 4th is right around the corner, where we celebrate our independence, we wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page going into this weekend as we were looking to go from stage 4 to stage 5. I'll just say, having prefaced this, knowing all of the information that we're taking into account, knowing that a date doesn't drive us, but the data does, we are prepared over the next 2 weeks leading up to July 18th to go to stage 4.5, which means much will stay the same over the next 2 weeks. Some things will change, especially to get general about it, indoor, outdoor activity. We just have to accept the fact, more than recognize it, but accept it, that again, this virus is on the prowl and it is moving. And it's moving even within our borders in different counties in our state, different positivity rates. And we are living on virus time, so to speak. And so we're taking that into account. All we try to control is what we can control, our own action, our own behavior, our own conduct. We know that there are things that we can do to slow the spread, especially as we await therapeutics and a vaccine. But the volatility that we see, even in some areas of our own state, but especially around the country and especially around our own borders, is of concern. And that's what's given us pause to push pause.
Indiana State Health Commissioner Dr. Christina Box also spoke about the numbers and reiterated the importance of wearing a mask. She specifically explained why the state saw the importance to launch a whole mask campaign.
Well, one thing I hope is that individuals watch the news every night and they see what's happened in other states where there hasn't been social distancing and there hasn't been mask wearing. And I hope that we start to take to heart that Indiana could very easily be in that same situation in the next 2 to 4 weeks or 6 weeks if we don't take this to heart. I think that the mask campaign is really meant to go out on social media where we can reach maybe some of the younger kids that don't watch this show every day and haven't heard us say this over and over again. They may not watch the news and hear Fauci or other people talking about masks. So, the point of that is to say, it really is about protecting other individuals, and it can give you some protection also. The CDC just on June 28th matched the WHO's recommendations that the public should wear masks in public, and I think that's a really important message for us to get out.
The next briefing on the coronavirus from the governor will be at 2:30 p.m. July 8th. We will carry that for you. And tomorrow, the new restrictions and public health guidelines concerning the coronavirus for people in Marion County will come out. Mayor Hogsett and Marion County Public Health Department Director Dr. Virginia Kane have scheduled a news conference for 10 o'clock in the morning. We will carry it live on Wish TV, wishtv.com, and on our Facebook page. State health officials did report 8 new Hoosier COVID-19 deaths today. That brings the statewide death toll to 2,456. Another 371 people tested positive, making for nearly 46,000 total cases. United Airlines is adding 25,000 more flights in August. The move triples the schedule United ran in June. It's a big jump in volume from recent months and a sign that United thinks demand is going to increase. However, the schedule is still just 40% of the one the airline ran a year ago. That drop, of course, is due to the coronavirus pandemic. And Disney today reopened another park. Tokyo Disneyland opened after being closed the past 4 months because of the coronavirus. It's the third Disney park to reopen following the Shanghai and Hong Kong locations. Back here at home, our I-Team 8 uncovered new developments in the Dreasjon Reed investigation. Investigators today have been back at the scene where Reed died in what IMPD calls an exchange of gunfire with an officer. As Stephanie Zeppelin reports, several state police employees were at the scene where it happened, 62nd in Michigan. It was this morning. They had shovels in hand. There was a large tent over part of the area as well. A handful of people were walking around with shovels and spades, cameras, buckets, and metal detectors. So I-Team 8 reached out to the Indiana State Police, who confirmed they were out there, but wouldn't tell us what they might have been looking for. We were kept away from the area with crime scene tape, and no one at the scene would talk with us, but they did spend several hours out there. The state prosecutor asked Indiana State Police to take over the investigation last month, saying she wants to review the evidence in as sterile an environment as possible. IMPD has claimed Reed had a gun at the time of the shooting and that at least 2 shots were fired from that weapon following a police chase. More than a dozen total shots were fired. Reed's family has publicly labeled his death a murder. No criminal charges have been filed, and there's no public timeline for the special prosecutor to reach a decision. Stephanie did reach out to the Reed family attorney today, but hasn't heard back. San Francisco police say they will stop making public the mugshots of people who've been arrested unless they pose a threat to the public. Police Chief Bill Scott says the new policy starting Wednesday is aimed at stopping the spread of negative stereotypes of minorities. Jack Glazer, a public policy professor at the University of California, Berkeley, who researches racial stereotyping, says data shows Black people who are arrested are more likely to have their cases dismissed by prosecutors, but the mugshots live on. And that contributes to Americans making an unfair association between people of color and crime. Several new laws are now in effect in Indiana. They include the hands-free law. That means you are not allowed to have a cell phone in your hand while you're driving. Also, Indiana's smoking age has gone up. You now must be 21 years old to buy cigarettes and other nicotine products, including vape products. The minimum age to marry in Indiana has also gone up from 15 to 16. And teacher evaluations and pay increases are no longer linked to student iLearn test results. The Lafayette Diocese has suspended Father Ted Rothrock from public ministry following what many call controversial comments he made in a June 28th newsletter. Father Rothrock is a priest at St. Elizabeth Seton in Carmel. Today, he issued what he called a clarification. He says in part, "It was not my intention to offend anyone, and I am sorry that my words have caused any hurt to anyone." He also said people are afraid, as I pointed out, rather poorly, I would admit, that there are those who feed on that fear to promote more fear and division. In an earlier newsletter posted on the church's website, Father Rothrock called some of the people involved in the social justice protests and riots maggots and parasites. He also said Black Lives Matter is not a friend or ally, but a serpent in the garden. In suspending Father Rothrock, the bishop of the Lafayette Diocese expressed pastoral concern for the affected communities. Father Rothrock was scheduled to become pastor at Our Lady of Mount Carmel. The bishop says that will now not happen. The group Carmel Against Racial Injustice plans to rally at the church before Sunday morning's Mass. You can read the entire new statement from the priest at wishtv.com. The new free trade agreement among the U.S., Mexico, and Canada went into effect today. It replaces NAFTA. The USMCA includes new provisions for digital commerce, more stringent rules of origin for auto parts, and new minimum wage requirements for certain auto workers. The deal was signed by 3 countries' leaders in November of 2018, but the text was later changed after months of closed-door negotiations between the Trump administration and House Democrats. And with the 4th of July this Saturday, the use of fireworks in Marion County is legal, but only during certain times. They are allowed now through July 9th between 5 p.m. and 2 hours after sunset. On the 4th, they are allowed from 10 a.m. until midnight. You must be at least 18 years old to use fireworks, or you need to have adult supervision. Fireworks can only be used on a resident's own property or with the permission from the property owner. And this is pretty cool. The moon will pass through parts of Earth's showdown this weekend, providing some extra beauty in the skies July 4th. Late Saturday night, the eclipse will be visible for much of the Western Hemisphere, including all of North and South America. We're going to have dry conditions and relatively clear skies in the forecast for Saturday night, according to our meteorologists all across central Indiana. So viewing conditions should be excellent. This won't be a full lunar eclipse. It's called the penumbral lunar eclipse. The difference between that and a total or partial eclipse is that the Earth, its outermost shadow, will fall on the face of the moon. So this makes a more subtle shadow over the moon compared to a sharp shadow during a partial eclipse, making it a bit more difficult to observe. But if you would like to take a peek at this event, you can do so between 11 o'clock Saturday night until 1:50 in the morning Sunday. The peak viewing time will be just after midnight, 12:30, early Sunday morning. This is the first lunar eclipse since 2019. The next eclipse will be also a penumbral eclipse slated for November. And Wish TV is proud to be a sponsor of the Indy Ultimate. It's part of the bicentennial celebration. The run walk from the Indiana Sports Corp includes the chance to kick a field goal at Lucas Oil Stadium, run the bases at Victory Field, and a great photo op at other downtown landmarks. The Indy Ultimate is Saturday, July 25th. You can find a link to register right now. Just go to our website, wishtv.com. And part of that registration fee will actually benefit the Indiana Hospitality Relief Fund for restaurant and tourism workers. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
Check out more podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.
allindianapodcastnetwork.com.